So in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to crochet the knotted half treble crochet. Really gorgeous textured stitch. It's really quite a neat looking stitch, very tidy, and it's a one row repeated pattern, so it's the same on the front as it is on the back. Perfect for doing crochet in front of the telly, or if you're travelling and you know you're going to be distracted. It's a great mindful one as well. So let's have a look at the tutorial. So for this tutorial I'm using an Aran weight yarn. This is Starcraft Aran in the colourway Raspberry. I've gone up 1/2 millimetre to what I would normally use with this size yarn. I've gone for a 5.5. You could go for an extra 1/2 millimetre or an extra millimetre just to give you a bit of looseness. Some of the stitches you do need to keep loose in this pattern. I have scissors to cut off my end, and I have a stitch marker just in case I need one. So for this stitch we're going to need a foundation chain. So we're going to start off with a slip knot. You can do this in whichever way you prefer. And you'll be pleased to know that there are no multiples to remember. You just need to make your chain as long as you would like for any number of chains that you would like. So decide how wide you would like your project, and that's how wide your piece is going to be. So make a chain by yarning over and pulling through. That's one chain, 2, 3, 4. You don't need to count, you just need to decide when you're happy with the length that you have. And I'm happy with that length, so I'm going to make mine however many chains that is. So pause the video now whilst you make your foundation chain as long as you would like it to be, and I shall see you in a moment for row 1. So for row 1 then, we are going to make a double crochet in the second chain from the hook. That's UK terms. In US you'll be making a single crochet. So we never count the one on the hook, so 1, 2. We're going to insert into that second chain, yarn over, pull through. You should have 2 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through the 2 loops. And we're going to put a double crochet in each of the chains all the way back down the row. So pause the video now whilst you work back down your foundation row, and I shall see you in a moment. So I've decided I'm going to change hooks because this colour is not particularly easy to see on your screens, so I'm going in with a silver hook. Hopefully that will make things a bit easier. So with row 2 then, we're going to chain 1. Now keep this chain 1 really loose because we're going to be using this stitch as we go along. So make sure that's nice and loose, and we're going to turn our work. So we're going to be working into this very first space here. And what we're going to do is yarn over, insert into the stitch, yarn over and pull a loop back through. You should have 3 loops on your hook. It's sort of the start of a treble. We're then going to go into the next stitch. So we're going to yarn over, insert into the next stitch, yarn over and pull a loop back through. You should have 5 loops on your hook now. And you're going to yarn over and pull through all 5. And that's our first knot complete. Now we don't finish this off with a chain to tie it off, we just leave it as it is. So for the next stitch now, we're going to work into the last stitch we just worked into. And we're going to do exactly the same thing again. So yarn over, insert into that stitch we've just worked into, yarn over and pull up a loop. We should have 3 loops on our hook. Yarn over and insert into the next stitch. Yarn over and pull up a loop. We should have 5 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull back through all 5 loops. So we've made 2 knotted half treble crochets there. So we're going to repeat this down the row until just before we get to the end. So let's just do that one more time together. So yarn over, insert into the last stitch that we worked into, yarn over and pull back through. Just have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, insert into the next stitch, yarn over and pull a loop through. You should have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 5. And there we have 3 knotted half trebles. So continue in exactly the same way all the way down the row until you get to just before the end, and I will show you how we need to finish off our row. So I come to just before the end of my row, and it looks like we've just got one more stitch left. So let me show you. Let's go and do our first part of that cluster, then the second part of that cluster, and we've got 5 loops, and there we could finish. But actually what we need to do just for this row is to work into this chain here that we have right on the side. Can you see that chain there? You might have to pull it out slightly. So we're going to do exactly the same as before. So yarn over, insert into the last stitch you just worked into, and pull up a loop. So 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and then go into that chain on the side, yarn over and pull up a loop, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over and pull through all 5. I don't know why that works, but for some reason that seems to work. But just for this row, all the other rows are going to make much more sense. So let's have a look at the next row. So for the next row then we're going to loosely chain 1. Remember, keep that very loose. Turn our work, and we're going to be working into that chain that we just made, doing the cluster that we've been doing. So I'm going to yarn over, go into that chain, yarn over and pull up a loop. I've got 3 loops on my hook. Then we're going to work into the stitch. So yarn over into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. There's our 5 loops. Yarn over and pull through all 5. Yarn over, insert into the stitch we've just done. Yarn over and pull up a loop. There's your 3. Yarn over, insert into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. There's your 5 loops. Yarn over and pull through all 5. So we're just going to carry on down this row in exactly the same way that we were doing on the previous row. It's just that beginning is slightly different. And this is the repeated row for the rest of the pattern. So in each row you need to loosely chain 1 and then work into that chain 1. And then do your cluster of stitches in exactly the same way. So I'm going to work down to the end of the row, and I'll show you what to do at the end of the row. So I'm just coming up to the end now, so I'm going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, insert into the next stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just checking, and there I have my last stitch. You should have the same number of knotted half trebles on each row, so I'm just going to check that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And on this row I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So it's worth checking just for the first few rows till you get the hang of it, especially because of that little awkward chain 1 at the beginning of the row. So as I said, each row now is just repeated. So we're going to loosely chain 1, turn our work, and then we're going to work straight into that chain space. So yarn over, insert into that chain, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over into the next stitch. Just have 5 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 5. And then you just carry on in exactly the same way as we've been doing. So apologies if my voice is going, I am suffering from a bit of hay fever here. So yarn over into the same stitch we've worked, yarn over, pull back through, you've got your 3 loops, yarn over and into the next one, yarn over, pull up a loop, 5 loops on your hook, and we're well away into the next row. So this is a really simple stitch once you get going. I'm going to work up a few more rows for you to see how it looks, and I shall see you in a moment. So I've just worked up a few more rows for you to see how it looks. It's a very tidy looking stitch. Obviously it's the same on the front and the back, being a 1 row repeated pattern. It feels quite a thick pattern, but not too much of a yarn eater, but it does have a nice density to it if you were wanting to use it for coasters or pot holders, or even a nice warm scarf or blanket. It's a very lovely stitch, very pretty stitch, and it works up super quickly. And I was getting so engrossed in this, so I have to stop now because I need to record this bit. So it's definitely one that you could sort of sit in front of the TV and crochet away without having to worry about your stitches. As long as you keep counting, so you know you've got the right number of stitches, you're good to go. So if you've enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm do all of its things. And let me know in the comments below whether or not you're going to use this stitch. If you've tried it before, what would you use it for? I'd love to know what sort of projects you think it would be good for. If you've enjoyed seeing my stitch marker today, I have lots of stitch markers and other crochet notions at shop.conquercrochet.com, and that again really helps to keep the channel going by shopping through my website, or you can find me on Etsy at conquercrochet.etsy.com. I shall pop 2 more videos on the side of the screen just over here to help you on your crochet journey, and I will see you in those videos there. Thank you so much for joining me on this one, and happy hooking!